Arena REIT is an internally managed stapled real estate group that owns, manages and develops specialised real estate assets across Australia. Arena's portfolio facilitates access to essential community services with positive social impact, including early learning centres, medical centres and specialist disability accommodation. Now, given the environmental and social footprint of the company's assets, joining me is Samantha Rist, Arena REIT's Chief of Investor Relations and Sustainability. Welcome.
Thanks, Lel. It's great to be here today.
Now, look, Sam, before we get into your sustainability initiatives, the company's share price is up more than 30% over the last 5 years. What tailwinds do you think have positively impacted the demand for real estate, and what's your outlook for the sector?
Thanks, Lel. Arena's property portfolio is supported by strong social and macroeconomic drivers. In the early learning sector, demand continues to increase as a result of changing community expectations, population growth, and an increase in female workforce participation. Further funding was introduced by the federal government last year, which was designed to increase the utilisation of early childhood education and care. And this is because of the strong economic and social returns for Australia, which include better economic security, particularly for working women, improving life learning prospects of children, and frankly, higher tax receipts from increased workforce participation. Demand and utilisation of Australian healthcare accommodation is supported by a growing and ageing population and, sadly, an increase in the prevalence of chronic health conditions. Looking forward, Arena's portfolio is in a really strong position. Our healthcare properties are performing to expectation, and the underlying occupancy of our early learning tenant partners operations is at the highest position on record, with additional future demand expected to increase from government reforms that are currently underway.
Fantastic. And look, when it comes to ESG and Arena REIT's commitment to partnerships, what do you believe are the key considerations and priorities to advancing this sustainability strategy?
Thanks, Lel. I think the most important input is the buy-in and support from the highest level of governance in an organisation. And for Arena, that's our board. And along with the management and the rest of the team, it's just really critical to have that collaboration and also with the wider business stakeholders. As you mentioned, Arena's tenant partners maintain operational control of our properties. So accordingly, we really have to work, actively to collaborate with them. And therefore, our overarching approach to sustainability is a partnership for change. We approach all of our sustainability actions and targets in a really commercial manner. And we also try and set really realistic expectations for what can be achieved. And what we consider to be a successful partnership outcome is when we're able to deliver mutually beneficial outcomes for our team, our tenant partners, our communities, and then ultimately our investors.
Fantastic. And finally, Sam, the company's last sustainability report covers a whole range of goals. Looking ahead, what do you think are going to be those major sustainability trends that are going to be impacting the industry?
Thanks, Lel. I think that we're going to continue to see a focus on environmental related sustainability issues over the short to medium term. Specifically, I think really how we're tracking as a nation with Australia's nationally determined contribution or our commitment to emission reduction targets under the Paris Agreement. Australia is committed to a 43% reduction in emissions by 2030 from a 2005 baseline, and we expect to see much more action in achieving these outcomes given that 2030 is becoming rapidly a reality. And as you're probably also aware, Federal Treasury recently released exposure draft legislation for climate-related financial disclosures for a range of listed and unlisted entities. So we also expect to hear much more about this evolving framework going forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the insights and wishing you and Arena REIT all the best for the year ahead.
Thanks, Lel. It was a pleasure to be here.